live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A very pleasant evening to you, the 9 p.m. news telecast of the prestigious channel of Sri Lanka. Welcome to the news. My name is Clifford Richards.
And I'm Hishai Nali. Let's have a look at the headlines for tonight.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in the island for a 3-day state visit. Several memoranda of understanding including energy, digitalization, security and healthcare are to be signed. Launch of the Sampur Solar Power Plant project and the official opening of the Maho-Omante railway line also to be conducted with the participation of the Indian Premier. The government is changing an awkward economy, the President states, joining the 58th National New Paddy Harvest Festival. The project signed to digitalize television telecasts. The Supreme Court quashes the petitions against the rejection of nominations. Sirilaka Piri Aurdu Siri National New Year Festival commences. The Constitutional Court orders the impeachment of South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol.
Well, moving on to the stories in detail, and a very historic day for Sri Lanka as the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in the island just a short while ago and was very warmly welcomed at the Bandaranaike International Airport, and we'll be having more of that story later on in the bulletin.
Most certainly, Clifford. With that great news, we are going to move on to the top stories for tonight. And the National New Paddy Harvest Festival, a traditional annual ceremony of offering the first portion of the freshly harvested Maha-season paddy to the sacred Sri Mahabodhi, was held this morning under the patronage of President Anura Kumara Dissanayake at the historic Sri Mahabodhi premises in Anuradhapura.
The 58th edition of the National New Paddy Harvest Festival was organized by the Ministry of Agriculture and the Department of Agrarian Services under the theme, "In unison, let us cultivate the land to build a self-sufficient nation," following the guidance of the Atamasthanaadhipati, the most venerable Pallegama Hemaratana Nayaka Thera. The sacred procession, which carried the newly harvested paddy from near the historic Singha Kanua in Anuradhapura, arrived at the sandy courtyard of the Sri Mahabodhi, marking the ceremonial commencement of the New Paddy Harvest Festival. This ritual dates back to the era of ancient monarchs, saw the participation of farmers from across the country. The most venerable Pallegama Hemaratana Nayaka Thera commenced the ritual by filling the golden bowl with the new paddy, which representatives from all provinces added paddy from their respective regions, symbolically filling the golden bowl. President Anura Kumara Dissanayake also participated in this ritualistic moment amidst the chanting of Firit by the Mahasangha. The chief incumbent of the Ruanvali Saya, the most venerable Ithalavatnavavi Gnanathilaka Thera, the chief incumbent of the Lankaramaya, the most venerable Ralpanave Dhammajoti Thera, and members of the clergy, Ministers K.D. Lalkantha and Vasanta Samarasinghe, Deputy Minister Namal Karunaratne, along with a large number of farmer leaders and dignitaries were present on this occasion. The vessel of the pure bee's honey traditionally offered to the Sri Mahabodhi was ceremonially presented to the President by the Deputy Leader of the Vadda community, Gunabandyala Atto. The vessel of ghee brought to the historic Samandevale in Sabaragamu was also presented to the President to be used in the customary ghee offering at the Sri Mahabodhi. The President also received the commemorative plaque of the 58th National New Paddy Harvest Festival and presented tokens of appreciation to farmer leaders who made a significant contribution to the development of the country's agriculture sector as part of the initiative to secure the pest-free harvest. The President participated in the distribution of pest-resistant seed paddy to the farming communities across the provinces. Atamastanadipati, the most venerable Palligama Hemaratana Nayaka Thera, said a provision of rice to the nation is a crucial mediation by the government to uplift the living condition of the farmer. The venerable Thera requested to provide fertilizer subsidy and other facilities to farmers. Minister K.D. Lalkantha said that the President, in the capacity of Minister of Finance, has allocated a huge amount of funds to make the country self-sufficient to areas such as irrigation, agriculture and livestock.
මුදල් ප්‍රමාණයක් මුදල් අමාත්‍යවරයා විදියට අපේ ජනාධිපතිතුමා අපිට වෙන් කරලා දීලා තියෙනවා. යලි අපේ රටේ
President Anukumar Dissanayake said that the current government is working to transform an economy that was in disarray. He noted that the Paddy Marketing Board is burdened with a debt of 28 billion rupees, while harvested paddy is being left to spoil in storage. The President emphasized that the current administration has accepted the responsibility of restoring and restructuring the disorderly system. He added that the government expects the support not only of the state machinery related to agriculture but also of all farming communities. He affirmed the intention to integrate Sri Lanka's cultural and traditional systems to reclaim the legacy of the agricultural economy and thereby strengthen the national economy. The President further stated that the country's ancient kings achieved greatness through their contributions to agriculture and irrigation. Self-sufficiency in food was a critical factor in that success. He highlighted that the sustainable development has become a global discourse today and that Sri Lanka's tank cascade system or WAPI system stands as a remarkable example of sustainable development. The country's irrigation system, which dates back nearly 2,000 years, continues to contribute to the advancement of agriculture even today. As such, the government has allocated 2 billion rupees in the current budget to rehabilitate the irrigation system and renovation work on the North Central Maha project and has already commenced to revitalize the country's agricultural industry. He added that the government also plans to develop seed farms to produce self-sufficient seeds while protecting genetic ownership. He further emphasized the need for fair prices for agricultural produce for both farmers and consumers. Due to long-standing market distortions, the government will intervene over the next 2 to 3 harvesting seasons to ensure both parties receive their fair prices. The President also stated that the necessary provisions for such state interventions have been made in the current budget, and also steps have been taken to create a storage capacity of 300,000 metric tons of paddy, which is expected to mitigate market distortion going forward.
And in the meantime, Minister Sunil Hadulnethi says that the government intends to engage in a diplomatic program with the US government with regard to the recent declared new tariffs. The minister stated that this increased US tax system will be a shock to Sri Lanka that is gradually recovering its economy at present. US President Donald Trump yesterday declared trade tariffs for over 100 countries. China has taken steps today to respond vigorously against these tariffs by imposing re-tariffs against American products. The market sources say that the world fuel prices will also indicate fluctuation due to this trade war. The government is now focusing attention for a program to minimize the influence. Minister Sunil Hadulnethi said that there is an aim of the export sector to increase the income up to $3 billion this year. This will be a shock for this target.
Summit. And we'd also like to bring to your notice that there were a few arrangements made here at the Katunayake airport to welcome the Honorable Prime Minister.
That has never been felt or experienced in recent time. One time where the Wall Street had said that they knew that the tariffs were coming and it was there, but they never expected it to be this bad. While this has created such a lot of shock waves across, everybody feels in the same way, no matter whether you are close to the American economy or further away from the American economy. Now, Sri Lanka is experiencing almost about 45% tariff, while Vietnam is talking about 70%. So that shows the magnitudes of the tariffs that have been sort of slapped on economy. Now, in this context, there are developing countries and the countries like us, which had a crisis not so long ago, and the countries that were much more prepared, like the European economies. So there is very little regard for the countries that are in crisis. There's no particular specific tailor-made approaches to these countries are the most likely scenarios as it unfolds in the near future.
දිවෙන්ට පැමිණියා. ඒත් එදින නිල සංචාරයක් සඳහා. අපි සූදානම් මීට අදාළ දර්ශන වෙත යමු වන්නට. ක්ලිෆර්ඩ්.
Yeah, Dushant, a very historic day for Sri Lanka as the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in the island just a short while ago on a 3-day state visit, and he was very warmly welcomed at the Bandar Naik International Airport. We are now trying to cross over to the scenes at the Bandar Naik International Airport.
Witnessed the arrival of the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, to Sri Lanka on an official state visit on the invitation of the Honorable President of Sri Lanka, Anurukumara Dissanayake. The flight just landed here at the Bandaranaike International Airport from Bangkok, Thailand, where the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, attended the BIMSTEC summit. And we'd also like to bring to your notice that there were a few arrangements made here at the ChannelEye Airport to welcome the Honorable Prime Minister, who is coming from Bangkok, Thailand, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. But due to the adverse weather conditions, the plans changed a little bit. But we are here to give you the latest updates on this official state visit.
So these are the clips from Bandar Naik International Airport, where we see the aircraft carrying Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India. Well, he had a little bit of delay due to adverse weather conditions, but this historic moment has dawned definitely, and we see the aircraft making its way. And also, you can get a clear picture of Prime Minister Narendra Modi making his way to the terminal of the Bandar Naik International Airport. Truly a historic day for Sri Lanka.
ඔබ දකින්නේ ඉන්දියා ග්‍රාමාත්‍ය නරේන්ද්‍ර මෝදි මැතිතුමන් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට සම්ප්‍රාප්ත වීම අවස්ථාව. එදින තෙදින නිල සංචාරයක් සඳහා එතුමන් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට පැමිණි. අපි මේ පිළිබඳ තොරතුරු ජාතික රූපවාහිනිය විදියට දිගින් දිගටම ඔබ වෙත ගෙනින්න සූදානම් වෙනවා. ක්ලිෆර්ඩ්.
Thank you, Dushant. Thank you very much. Well, this is news live on national television, and we continue with more local stories. Welcome back to the news, and we continue with more local stories. Now, the signing of the concerned engineering guidance service agreement to operate the digitalization project of the terrestrial television telecast of Sri Lanka was held in Colombo yesterday. That was under the patronage of Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa and also the Japanese ambassador in Sri Lanka, Isomata Akio. The agreement was officially signed by the Secretary to the Ministry of Health and Mass Media, Consultant Dr. Anil Jasinghe and Managing Director Gaku Adachi on behalf of Japan Engineering Guidance Service Institute. The main aim of this program is to follow the tendency of speed digitalization the world over. An opportunity to view clear visual programs will be provided with the removal of weak terrestrial television signals. Minister Nalinda Jayatissa said that Sri Lankans have been receiving analog television services for nearly 45 years and that in future people will be capable of having the highest quality possible during their television watching experience. The digital terrestrial television broadcasting project is a project that supports transformation to digital economy, which is the foundation for sustainable economic growth through the effective use of limited and scarce frequencies.
And moving on to more stories here at home, the function was held today to appreciate producers who won awards and were nominated representing Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation at this year's Rigam Awards ceremony with the participation of Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa. National Channel also became the acclaimed channel of the year at 2024 Rigam Tellies Award ceremony. The appreciation ceremony of awards and nominees was held at the Rupavahini Corporation premises. National Channel received 14 nominations in the Media Excellency section and 17 nominations in Teledrama Excellency section at this year's Rigam Awards Festival. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said that the National was in need of such an opportunity. The National TV has received awards in numerous occasions during its history over the last 4 decades. However, all the awards received at this time are more precious since this is a time the employees of the National Television are striving as a team and a family to enhance the image of the National Television. Therefore, this can be considered as a huge investment for the future of the SLRC. The National Television has the challenge of convincing the Ministry of Finance that the corporation is attempting hard to develop its profitable entity. Employees of the corporation should be ready to go forward such a journey. Receiving these awards and nomination is an impetus for all of us to have courage. This is a very good opportunity for the National TV and therefore let us all work hard to achieve the targets and victories. The Minister said that he wishes all the best for the Rupavahini staff and the government has signed agreements to obtain advisory services under the digitalization project with Japanese aid. This institution has historic relationship with Japan and Japanese technical support should be obtained in future as well for the development of this institution in the recent past, and some Japanese projects were stopped in the middle without citing any justifiable reason. However, the present government has taken a decision to re-implement all the projects with Japan. The National Television is naturally going forward and however the speed will be decided by the contribution given by the SLRC staff.
විවිධ හේතු මත නොකිරී තිබුණු ඩිජිටල්කරණ ව්‍යාපෘතිය ජපාන් ආධාරය යටතේ අපි මේ උපදේශන සේවාව සඳහා ගිවිසුම අත්සන් කළා. මම හිතනවා මේක ජාතික රූපවාහිනියට වැදගත් වේවි. ජපානයත් එක්ක ඓතිහාසික සම්බන්ධයක් තියෙන ආයතනයක් හැටියට ඒ තාක්ෂණය සහ අනුග්‍රහය ආධාරය ඉදිරියට ලබා ගැනීමට මේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය ඉදිරියට යන එක වැදගත්. අපි බොහෝ ව්‍යාපෘති නතර වෙන එක හේතුවක් බවට පත් වෙලා තිබුණා. මේ ජපාන් ව්‍යාපෘති කිසිදු සාධාරණ හේතුවකින් තොරව අතරමඟ නතර කරලා තිබුණා දේශපාලන හේතු මත. අපි තීන්දුවක් ගත්තා. ඒ ව්‍යාපෘති අත්සන් කරනවා කියලා යනුව තාම ශක්තිමත් ඉදිරි පියවරක් තමයි තිබුවේ. ඒකත් මම හිතනවා ජාතික රූපවාහිනිය පැත්තෙන් වැදගත් වේවි කියලා. ඔබ හැමදෙනාගේම කැපවීම ශක්තිය මැදිහත් වීමක් තමයි අපේ ගමන ඉක්මන් වුණාද කියලා තීන්දුව කරන්නේ. ගමන ඉස්සරහට යනවා. රූපවාහිනිය කොහොමත් ඉස්සරහට යනවා. ඒක විශ්වාසයි. ඒකේ වේගය තීන්දුව වෙන්නේ ඔබ හැමදෙනාම එකිනෙකා අතර අන්‍යෝන්‍ය අවබෝධයෙන් කරන ක්‍රියාකාරීත්වය මත. ජාතික
Director General of SLRC Manoj Kumar Singh has said that National Television staff is a team that is working with a national responsibility. Productions of the SLRC are at very top level. This is an acclaimed television channel in both programs and teledrama sections. The SLRC will be able to become a channel with best programs and become the people-oriented entity. The occasion was graced by Chairman of Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation Gihan De Silva, Director General Manoj Amarasinghe and executive officers and other officials.
Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation is ready to hold the Sri Lanka Piri Aurudu Siri National New Year Festival in a very grand manner this year as well. And the inauguration of this event was held at the corporation premises this morning. Well, this program, organized by the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation to mark the Sinhala and Tamil New Year annually, is a highly attractive program for tens of thousands of viewers. The inaugural event of this program series was held at the corporation premises this morning. The New Year rituals, New Year festival, Rukirula Aurdu Kumariya competition and all other programs will be held at the Mavatagama area in Kurunagala this year. The sponsors, well-wishers, state officials, management of the SLRC and other parties participated at this event. Several special programs were also held today reminding the New Year rituals. The sponsors handed over their relevant checks and certificates to the SLRC management at this event. The Rukirura offered to the Rupavahini Aurdu Kumari was also launched in line with this event. A feature program with the participation of the final round competitors of the Aurdu Kumariya program was also presented today. The choreographic event of this was presented to the Tunhele Janagi Kalya dancing group. Minister of Health and Mass Media Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, Chairman of SLRC Gihan De Silva, Director General Manoj Amarasinghe and several top officials of the corporation were present on the occasion. Chairman of SLRC Gihan De Silva said that there are a large number of individuals who joined with the SLRC in the National New Year Festival and the sponsored event. There is also new sponsors this time. As a state media institution with public responsibility, the corporation contributes to the utmost to fulfill their business objectives in a very reasonable manner. Well, today is the fourth day of the Sundara Nuwareliya Salalihini Wasante.
And the national television sponsors Salalihini Wasante this year also. The most acclaimed channel, the national television, televised a day-long program of Sundara Nuwareliya Salalihini Wasante for the fourth day today. Tomorrow will be a special day for Nuwareliya Salalihini Wasante. The visitors and tourists will be able to witness the classic car exhibition, and the Magastora motor racing competition is also due to commence tomorrow. A large number of tourists were seen visiting Sundara Nuwareliya Salalihini Wasante program along with the participation of school children as a special attraction today. One should visit to gain the tourist experience of delightful Nuwareliya city.
Well, Aisha, just a little while ago, we did mention about the arrival of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on a 3-day state visit. And we're now going to cross over to Sharifa Tahir, who is going to tell us more about his arrival at the Bandaranaike International Airport.
We just witnessed the arrival of the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, to Sri Lanka on an official state visit on the invitation of the Honorable President of Sri Lanka, Anurakumara Dissanayake. The flight just landed here at the Bandaranaike International Airport from Bangkok, Thailand, where the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, attended the BIMSTEC summit. And we'd also like to bring to your notice that there were a few arrangements made here at the Kattunayake Airport to welcome the Honorable Prime Minister, who is coming from Bangkok, Thailand, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. But due to the adverse weather conditions, the plans changed a little bit. But we are here to give you the latest updates on this official state visit. And the Prime Minister is scheduled to hold bilateral talks with President Anurakumara Dissanayake, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasurya, and all. A few moments ago, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, arrived in the island on a historical 3-day state visit. Prime Minister Modi, who arrived at the Katunayake International Airport a short while ago, is accompanied by Minister of External Affairs S. Jaishankar, Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Indian Foreign Secretary and several senior officials of the Government of India. The Indian delegation was officially received by Sri Lanka's Minister of Foreign Affairs Vijitha Herath at the airport, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Sri Lanka on an invitation extended by President Anurakkumara Dissanayake. Premier Modi has visited Sri Lanka back in 2015 and in 2017 and also in 2019 as well. So he is the first foreign head of government to be hosted by President Anurakkumara Dissanayake and the new government. A series of key agreements are expected to be signed across multiple sectors, including energy, digital transformation, security and healthcare as well. One of the major highlights of the visit will be the inauguration of the Sampur Solar Power Plant project, a joint initiative between Sri Lanka and India, which is aimed at bolstering the country's renewable energy capacity. And as part of this official state visit, the Indian Prime Minister is also set to pay homage to the sacred Sri Mahabodhi in Anuradhapura.
Most certainly, Clifford, a truly momentous day today as we are honoured by the graceful presence of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi here in Sri Lanka, and we shall keep you updated as the story unfolds here at SLRC. Moving on to other news here at home, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya attended the 6th BIMSTEC summit held in Bangkok, Thailand today.
And also she also participated in the Invest Sri Lanka promotional events, and that was aimed at strengthening regional cooperation and also attracting investment to Sri Lanka. Prosperous resilience and transparency is the theme of this year's BIMSTEC summit. On the sidelines of the summit, the Prime Minister engaged in bilateral discussions with the Prime Ministers of Bhutan and Nepal, focusing on enhancing collaboration in areas of mutual interest, including economic cooperation and regional connectivity. As part of the economic outreach initiatives, the Prime Minister Amarasuriya addressed the Invest Sri Lanka Business Forum, jointly organized with the Thai Sri Lanka Chamber of Commerce. The forum served as a platform to highlight Sri Lanka's investment opportunities to foster stronger commercial ties between Sri Lanka and Thailand. In recognition of long-standing cultural and religious ties between the two countries, the Prime Minister also visited the historic Wat Phot Temple in Bangkok, where she was welcomed by the chief incumbent of the temple.
And in other news, the Supreme Court today decided to quash 6 fundamental right petitions and 53 writ petitions filed by political parties against the rejection of nominations in the local government elections without a hearing. The Supreme Court delivered the order after a long consideration of facts in this regard. When the concerned petitions were taken up, Deputy Solicitor General Kanishka De Silva appeared for the Attorney General, argued that the Supreme Court does not possess a judicial power to take up these petitions. Accordingly, she requested from the court quashing of the concerned petitions without taking up a hearing on them and delivering the order after a long consideration of facts. The Justice said that the fundamental objection filed by the Attorney General will be accepted, and accordingly, he further said that the taking up of concerned petitions will be quashed without issuing notices.
Well, that's news at home, and we take a short break. We'll be back with international stories shortly.
You can make a difference. It is your duty to help eradicate dengue. Clean up your environment at least once a week. A message from the Dengue Control Unit of the Ministry of Health.
And welcome back after the break, and on to news away from home. South Korea's highest court has removed President Yoon Suk-yeol from office, ending months of political uncertainty after he briefly declared martial law.
President Yoon was arrested and charged by prosecutors in January following his December 3rd decision to declare martial law and sending troops to parliament to prevent its reappeal. South Korea's opposition-led parliament subsequently voted to impeach Yoon in mid-December, leading to his suspension from office. Furthermore, South Korea's constitutional court has voted to uphold the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol today. The authorities stated that South Korea must now elect a new president within the next 60 days. Meanwhile, President Yoon is also facing a separate criminal trial over insurrection charges stemming from his declaration of martial law.
Welcome back to the news, and it's on sports, and we're heading into the Indian Premier League cricket tournament. Well, Kolkata Knight Riders won the match against Sunrisers Hyderabad by 80 runs in the match played yesterday at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata of the Indian Premier League cricket tournament. Batting first, Kolkata Knight Riders scored 200 runs for the loss of 6 wickets in 20 overs. Venkatesh Iyer scored 60, while Ankrish Raghuvanish contributed with a half-century. In reply, Sunrisers Hyderabad could only manage 120 runs out of 16.4 overs. Henrich Klassen, who scored 33 runs, was the top scorer. In bowling, Varun Chakravarti and Vaibhav Arora of Kolkata Knight Riders shared 3 wickets each. Well, great action from the Indian Premier League. On that note, we end the news. Do enjoy the rest of the programs together with Hesha. This is Clifford, wishing you a pleasant night.